Oh, good flipping morning, everybody. Good morning, world. Good morning, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and gosh, brain, work, everyone. I don't know. Good morning. Good morning. So today there's a moral, not moral. You're gonna have to bear with me. Bear with me today. So there is a reason, that's the word, why I want to talk about finding happiness today, and that is because on Tuesday, the sun in the UK was just phenomenal, and it came out to play, and I woke up on Tuesday morning. I was like a flipping child again. I had so much energy, right? I was bounding around like an absolute, well, like a little lamb. Well, I want to be sheep, but you know. I was just bouncing around, and I had unbridled energy on Tuesday, and the sun was out, and I had music playing, and we had a barbecue, and it was just a beautiful day, and I was so happy, and I wanted to do something just celebrating happiness. I just wanted to celebrate the sun, our lives, and happiness, and that is why I thought about finding happiness. Because, hold on a second, because this is boiling me up. I'm going to start sweating. I'll be melting in a minute. Because when we're in a happy mode, we just check that it's gone off, which it hasn't. I literally am boiling. When we're in a good mood, it's very easy to see happiness all around us, isn't it? It's like really easy, because everything just makes you feel good, and you've got that joy in your soul. It's just a beautiful feeling, and you just want to invite more of that in every single day. But obviously throughout life, we're not always in Mr. Rainbow land, you know, we're just not. And we do experience challenges on a daily basis. Some are big, some are small. But how do we find happiness in those moments? Because happiness is one of the main things that can just bring you through. And we are responsible for our own happiness, and we can conjure up from nowhere our own happiness at any time at all, even when you're in those dark cloud days. And so today I just wanted to talk about finding happiness and what makes us happy, and how do we know that makes us happy, and what can we do more of, and also things like, another thing really, really big to me is, you know, on those Facebook timeline memories, you know, when they pop up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so sometimes these memories pop up, and it's like 4 years ago or 2 years ago, or whatever it is, and I'm with Ethan, and I'm away on holiday, or you know, I'm off doing whatever I'm doing with Ethan, or the family, you know, the family ones where you've had Christmas together, or you know, all the beautiful moments in life. And that feeling, because right now we haven't got that in our outside worlds per se. But we've still got those feelings that we felt whilst we were in those moments. And those timeline images, they just rushed them back. It's like a massive anchor. So when you're seeing it, there's almost like there's like a pang for me. There's like a pang of nostalgia. It's like, oh. But then what I try and do is I try and invite in those feelings, that I try and relive that moment. I get in there and I try and feel that happiness, and feel just the vibe and the colors, and breathing in the smells and the sounds, and just how I felt. And then I'm happy again. And music can do that too. Music for me is just massive, because I can hear a song. If I'm just having a lower day, and I'll put a song on that I absolutely love, it's just something about the vibration in it to me. There's the chords, or this chord structure, or just something that's coming across out those speakers to me that just soothes me, and it can invoke a million different emotions. So who's that? Is that Lucinda?
It is, yeah.
Let me say hello, Lucinda.
Say hello to Danielle.
Hi, gorgeous. How are you? Good. Is she good? Are you okay?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Very good. For anyone watching, Lucinda is also a master NLP practitioner, and she was on my course doing the overseeing. So,
yeah, mine too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, of course, Kate, you too. So, yeah, I haven't seen you for ages. You look gorgeous as ever.
Oh, thank you. I'm very excited. I'm going out to meet a friend.
That is, do you know what? That is exciting. That brings you happiness. You found happiness right there.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
Let me just mute you a minute. I'm going to mute a minute, Linda. Right, so let me know when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready. So yeah, today, that's why I wanted to talk about finding happiness. I love these chats because they are just real, aren't they? The doorbell goes, the dog goes mental. My child comes in like half naked going, oh, I want this, I want that. It's like flipping, okay. But yeah, so but they bring me joy. Do you know what? That actually makes me happy too. So finding happiness in those moments. So Kate, what do you think? Finding happiness, what for you? What is it for you?
For me, happiness. Well, I mean, the thing is about happiness for me is like it's this feeling of total elation. Like you were saying on Tuesday, you had this feeling with the sunshine, and it was just this moment, and it's just like, wow, it's full of energy and everything else. And it is for me, I think in my body, there's like it is like total joy. My body just feels full of energy. All my cells are kind of working well and healthy and happy, and they're just doing their jobs, and they feel like it's almost like there's a party going on in all my cells. They're having a party, they're celebrating, they're having this great time inside. And then happiness for me is a really clear mind that is just clear. There's nothing going on. There are no like niggly voices or anything. It's just pure clarity and peace of mind. And that for me is happiness.
Yeah.
And so I can't hear you now, Danielle. If you're talking.
You can't hear me?
Oh yeah, I couldn't hear you then. It's all right, you're back now.
That's all right, I'm back.
So for me, it's like there's a mixture of total joy, but also real peace. It's the two. And I think the peace is the mind, and the joy is like just the body, just the energy. So that's my happiness. And it's fleeting, like all feelings are. You know, happiness, that extreme joy it's an extreme feeling, so it can't last. It's the feelings that last are the kind of like the really steady, balanced feelings that are kind of not one extreme or the other, are they? They're just kind of there. Yeah. And I think the key to a happy life, if you want to talk about how do you make life happier throughout, is like getting to a default state where you're more in that state than in the other state as much as you can be. And it's because, and how to get back there, know how to get back there, know the way back, the path back to it. Like you were saying, if you're feeling a little bit nostalgic, a bit sad about missing people or whatever, then you go into a memory of being with them and then feel that feeling. And then where's that in your body? And then really reinforcing that. And then you feel it again. And you can give that to yourself anytime you like, but it's remembering to do it, isn't it, as well?
That's it.
Especially if you're in a low mood, then how do you get back to that place and your own path to get there? Yeah. And so there's that kind of getting to a default kind of balanced place, so that anytime you need to, you can move to, you know, extreme happiness, or if you need to be angry, you know, you need to set a boundary or something, then at least you can do it from a balanced place. And that, to me, I'm happiest when I'm kind of in that balanced place, and I can then choose, you know, I've got more choice over my feelings. My feelings aren't owning me, you know, and I'm in that place. And then the way I get that is like you said, you were out in the garden on Tuesday because the sun was shining and everything else. And for me, I rarely get that feeling indoors, rarely. Yeah, for me, it's usually I'm outside in nature, you know, the sun, ideally the sun's shining, but actually even if it's raining and windy, I still get that energy feeling. That's what my body wants, is that energy. It's just when I'm really, really cold, then I don't think I can be really happy when I'm really cold, because I just don't do well with the cold. My body doesn't like it. So really, really, you know, really knowing what works for you, for your body, what gives you the best energy. You know, like for me, having a good night's sleep. You know, I can't be happy if I feel like crap in the morning because I didn't sleep well. So it's knowing, you know, the conditions that work for you to allow that to spring out, you know, because it's kind of a natural feeling. I believe our natural state is this kind of open-hearted, joyful body feeling and a calm mind. That's our natural state, but we get stuck in other states, and it's how to unstick yourself, and then that other place, that happy place, is underneath all of that. Yeah. So all you got to do is unstick all the other stuff, and then underneath you just uncover it. It's always been there. You just maybe forgot where it was or forgot it was there. And so there are loads of different techniques we all use with our practices to help people do that, because that's what we're doing, aren't we? People, when they come to us, they just want to feel happier. They want to feel better, and whatever that is to them. So you find out what that is to them, and then you help them find it, and it's there inside always. It's just, how do you find your way back to it? And then finding the right thing that works for you, that's why we have to learn so many different techniques, because everyone's different.
Absolutely. That is the beauty of life. That joy is such a gift. It's a magic, isn't it? And do you know, when we're in that state of joy, nothing really gets to us ever, like, 'cause we're so present. So that's a true state of presence, actually, because everything just bounces off. We could get, I don't know, you don't normally tend to like stub your toe, or you don't normally, you're attracting more of the good rather than, when you get out of bed and you're having a bit of a bad morning, you get out, you fall out on the wrong side, and you just want to go back in it. So yeah, it's what we're attracting, and that joy to me is, I just love that. I want more and invite more in. But yeah, you're right, the peace and the calm, that's the magic right there, because we are able to live our lives on that peace and calm, because it is personal. It's creating that bubble around you, and knowing everything's all right now for you. And what if it isn't all right in the present? What is it that can be changed to make it feel better and to get that state of calm reinforced? Linda, darling, happiness to you.
Okay, so to find happiness, you've got to do the work.
Yes.
That's my starting point. There is work to be done. Yes, there are people who seem to be naturally happy most of the time, but they are naturally doing the work then. So what is the work? You have to decide about your, we call limiting beliefs, your negative thoughts. You have to decide about that, and you have to make the decision. As a Christian, we make it by deciding, well, who is saying that to me? Would God say that to me? If you don't have that belief, you still need to make a decision on who is saying that in your head. And do you believe it? Because you have got to, they're always miserable things, aren't they, that upset our happiness. So you've got to decide, do you believe those miserable things or not? And that's your starting point. Now, there are techniques that can help remove them. And I've got some free, actually, I've got 2 free things to do about negative thoughts on my wherever I've got them on a link. So there are techniques to do, but it still needs that underlying decision that these things are not the truth about me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they will come back. Now they will come back as well. And I'm going to jump, I've made some notes. I'm going to jump to the last thing I wrote down. What I've realized as well, because I have experienced 3 times in my life long periods of depression and anxiety. I don't expect it to touch me now. I do not expect it to touch me, and I don't believe it will. But that was then. One of the things I learned from it is living life is never just a flat line of happiness. There are ups and downs, so it goes like a wave. And the thing that is important then is you just need to lift the wave. If the downs are desperation and the ups are, oh, well, today's not a bad day, your wave is way too low. That is when you're in depression. You lift the whole wave. And what this means is, so you lift the whole wave by doing the work, by lifting your happiness points till they become way bigger than they used to be. And another thing I realized is that we don't all have the same scale for happiness. 0 to 10, my idea of happiness, this just came into my mind one day. What I thought was a 9 or a 10, there would be other people for whom it was a 3 or a 4.
Yeah.
So just because your highest happiness is XYZ, there's further, there's more you can experience.
That's right.
And so we need to be searching for that. So then how you lift it by lifting the happiness points, and then your low points will just be, oh, well, that wasn't very nice today. That happened, it wasn't very nice. The other thing is regrets. I've actually been attacked by regrets this week, and so I've sorted this out. And at the same time as I was feeling miserable that I wasn't still living in the apartment that I left before moving in here, before moving in with Lucinda, which had a stunning garden, a beautiful, beautiful garden, huge, and a pond and forest trees and everything. And I felt so sad that I even felt a bit like crying. And then I was listening to a song. It's a Christian worship song, but it doesn't matter. And it was called Sweet Dreams. And the gist of the lyrics were, sweet dreams, you've got to go now.
Wow. Because
they've gone, it's behind us. It cannot come back. I can't go get that life back that I thought I was missing. It's just a dream, because the other thing we do is we cherry pick. We do, I'm just thinking, oh, I remember that moment when I took this video and put it on Facebook. I remember that moment. I was really enjoying the garden. Yes, but what about the other moments? What about the reasons I left there for? Yeah. What about those? They still exist. So I think it's really important to put everything that's gone behind you. All of you, it doesn't matter. You can do something with your regrets, but all you can do is make it different from this point on. Yeah. Use your regrets for that reason. I don't think we need to be afraid of regrets. Yeah. But okay, if I regret, I've lived in some stunning houses, and one of them I was miserable about because we didn't have enough money to stay there, and I didn't help to earn anything. So if only. Well, there's no use to an if only. Is that if only I'd made more money? Yes, well, just crack on with doing it now. That's all you can do. We cannot go back in time. Yeah. What we can do, so then we're going to need some ways of lifting the happiness points on the way. I was interested in what Kate said. There are homes for the elderly. I have a feeling this is in America, but there are homes for the elderly where they play music from their prime of life. That's right. Yeah, they show films from their prime. Everything is from their prime. And those people, there was research done, and those people were healthier and presented in health terms as younger than those that just that didn't do that, than those that didn't make an effort, just watched what was on telly now and just read the newspaper. They also got newspapers from those times. So, oh my God, you just reminded me of something so much, just what you're saying. Do you remember, Kate, on the course when I had that idea? Let's just come there. It's that, isn't it? It's that. What you're saying, I had this idea. Look, it was based on something that Terry was talking about, but I just wanted to do this. I think it's such a great idea for all the therapists. Yeah. If you could get people together, this is what we were talking about then, and do their therapy, just to get away from
whatever it is that they want to get away from, and they go into this place that is surrounded by their era. They're like, if they're in the 80s or the 70s or 60s or 50s,
whatever is
what
your prime.
saying. And doing the therapies whilst they're surrounded in what they are absolutely loving and knowing, and what gives them all those feel good, and I think that's such a powerful tool. And that's just brought it back, exactly what you've just said, because I think that would really work.
And we can do that, and that's useful to do then. So what we would do, I guess, because it's no good just giving bits of ideas out, is it? So I guess what we would do, what I could have done when I saw that video of my wonderful garden, I could have worked on it in the way that Kate was talking of. I could have thought, instead of thinking, oh, well, I'm not there now, and I don't really care for the garden here much. It's all right, but I don't care for it. It's nothing special. Instead of doing that, I could have let myself feel what I felt when I was sitting in that garden, looked for where that feeling was, used it instead of being miserable about it. Use it, because it isn't coming back. That garden is not coming back. My pastor said last week in his sermon, he said, he used to be a farmer, and he said, you've got to put things behind you and shut the gate. Otherwise, he says, this is what you have to do with cows. You get them through into the field. If you don't shut the gate, they'll come and kick and nudge you up the bum. So you've got to shut the gate. And we can do that, but still use that nice feeling.
Of course, and you can find the beauty. You can find the beauty in any situation. That's the thing. We are so powerful, and we can do that. So you're in a garden that maybe you're seeing through different eyes, like than the ones that you were in the last garden with your different eyes. But if you put those goggles back on, what parts of your garden become even more beautiful?
Yes, exactly. And also something I thought of, and I haven't done yet, when I first learned about this things from your prime, I thought, what would it do for us if we surround ourselves in our environment by favorite things from any time in life? So I can see in my mind some fabric of a dress that I loved when I was a child. What if I made a cushion of that? What if I had a couple of cushions on the bed of that fabric, as close as I could get to that fabric? What if I could have what if I had pictures of Bob Dylan around the place?
Why not?
They're anchors, aren't they? These are anchors.
Sure.
And we can use anchors. So for those that may not know, an anchor is something that triggers a feeling in you. Or a behavior. It might trigger anything, a behavior or a feeling. So why don't we have these anchors around us to trigger good feelings, not to regret it, but to go, oh yeah, I can have that. Because although the time is gone, the feeling
is there,
can move.
Absolutely.
Can't it?
And
the feeling lives in us. The feeling isn't still in that garden.
It's not.
In fact, the feeling never was in that garden.
No, it really is inside.
No.
Oh, I love that. And I was looking at the colour of my car the other day, because I actually washed it for the first time in God knows how long, as you do. And it was a beautiful blue, and it was sparkling. And do you know what? I just thought, oh my God, it's really a beautiful colour. And it took me back to when I was a kid growing up, and I used to have a top that had, like, you know, the glitter writing on it.
Yes.
It was the same blue and the same sparkle. And I had that same feeling when I had that top on, and I remembered everything about it. So it's amazing in everyday life, when we really look at something or something just catches your eye, why is it catching your eye? And what does it remind you of? It's noticing the little things, because they're all little messages. They're all little ways that your body's going, oh look, that's that.
They are.
You know, it's just adding it together.
That reminds me, Danielle, of there's a technique that you can use called savouring, and it's exactly that. It's taking the little things in your life, noticing them, and training your your mind to notice them more, because that's all there is. You're just looking at the positive or the negative in life, aren't you? Every day, what glasses are you putting on when you look at your garden, like kind of Linda was saying, you know. So it's like, so if you just notice something, like I was talking about in my course the other day, there's a certain fork that I use when I eat, and this fork, it used to be like in a box. We had like, this is the special cutlery that we only use for when we have dinner parties or something. And it's like, why do we do that? I want to use these all the time. These are my favorite. I love this, eating with this fork. So I've got them out, and just I use them all the time now. Why not? You know, why do I hold them back for just when with other people? You know, so put them in. But my husband hates that fork. He hates using that fork. He likes the bigger, chunkier ones. And for me, it's nice, long, slender, elegant. It's just beautiful, the fork, and it just lifts me.
Oh, I would like.
I noticed that when they're all in the dishwasher and I haven't got one, that it actually brings me down a bit when I can't eat with that fork. So for me, it's just noticing. So it's the little things, you know, what's your fork? Find your fork, and then savor it. So when the thing is, when you hear something, like you hear a certain song or something, then and you get that lift, that real feeling, lift your spirits, you know, that just wonderful feeling. So I was in the shower the other night, and I put on my playlist, and Dire Straits' Sultans of Swing came on, and that to me, it just lifts me up. And so it was just like I was dancing in the shower, I was just singing to the top of my voice, and wow, that shower was brilliant. You know, I could just be sat there with nothing, you know, had nothing going on. I would just stood in the shower doing it. So making the effort to actually put my playlist on when I was having a shower turned that whole experience into something really uplifting, and I was kind of on a high for hours afterwards.
Right.
So what is that feeling inside of you? Like when I get that, it was like a real opening feeling, expanding feeling, just a wow. It was like a burst, a shot in the arm of energy. And savoring is like really noticing the feeling in your body, what's happening, really sort of savoring it is, imagine you had to explain it to someone later.
Yeah.
You know, imagine you had to describe it to somebody this evening. So really notice it, really do it. And then as you're winding down for the evening, maybe just before you're going off to sleep, remember that feeling again. Remind yourself and try and feel it again. You know, think what were the great points of the day, you know, that whole gratitude thing that you can do. What are the 3 things to be grateful for today? And you're training your body to remember that feeling, so it will notice it more next time. So you're more aware of it, and you're just training your body to be more optimistic, more positive. Remembering those feelings, savoring them, is like really make it as strong as you can, as bright as you can. You know, imagine it's a color. How can you make it brighter? How can you make it bigger? How can you make it like in a bubble that's completely engulfing you? And then even send it out to everyone around you. Let them have some for you, and just make it bigger and bigger. Take it out around the whole world. You know, whatever you want to do for it, send it to all the people you love, and then remember it that evening. What do I remember from today? The great things. And then can I recreate that feeling once more? And the more you do that, the more you practice that, you're doing what Linda was saying, you're raising that wave.
Raising the wave.
You're lifting that wave. And what I've also
higher, and
that's right.
Technique.
What I've also noticed this week's just come to me this week is that we do not achieve happiness simply by removing what makes us miserable.
No,
it's a two-sided job.
Yin yang.
So we may have to remove the things that make us miserable, especially if they're things that seem to be outside our control, like being anxious or depressed or something. Yes, we will need to do work on that, but that does not leave the what's it called? It doesn't leave the
space,
everything clear for happiness to pile in.
You see,
happiness is a habit.
It is.
Happiness is a habit, and if we've been miserable for a while, we will have lost those habits. And this is why I remember when I was depressed, each time happiness was abolished, it felt as if there was no happiness anywhere for anyone. It had been abolished, and anyone who appeared to be happy, I doubted whether they really were happy. And this would be why, wouldn't it? Because the habit, the pathways, the mental pathways for being happy were gone from me at that time. So if you've been anxious, you've been living with circumstances that are not good for some time, then you will need to work at finding happiness.
And you know what? Decluttering. It's coming to decluttering as well, because you have to make exactly what you're saying. You have to make space to have more good in. So, and that comes decluttering the people around you that don't make you feel happy, if you can, or just having them in small doses, if that's
small doses.
That's it. Because we can all handle small doses, but when it's engulfing you and you're getting the energies and you're allowing that to affect who you are as a person, firstly, you need to put your little barriers up and you know, reflect it off, because you can do that. You can. But secondly, little doses and just recognizing it. I think that's really important. Decluttering, you know, the people around you on your Facebook that are making you, bring you down, or you know,
so it's decluttering your thoughts as well, isn't it?
Your thoughts, decluttering your clothes, taking the bit, like what you were saying, the bit of material from the clothes that you used to wear. Take the material from that dress that you won't fit in from 30 years ago.
Yes,
you really liked it and it was good memory. Cut out a bit of that blooming material, stick it on the cushion, like what you're saying.
Stick it on the cushion, or well, if you're creative, or make something of it. Make a mat of it. Make a dolly of it. Make a rag doll out of it. Or dress. I've got teddy bears. Dress up your teddy bears in it.
Just do something useful with it, rather than looking at something that you really, really loved and you remembered it so well because it was the dress, but it will never fit you, and it's just taking up space.
And it just reminds you it will never fit you.
I've got so many of those, I'll tell you. I'm just like, you put it away, and then you can put it away in the loft, and then when you're ready, because you haven't worn it for the last 5 years because it's been in the loft, then you can really make the move and say, you know, let it go, because that's the free part, isn't it? It's letting it go, because sometimes we put it away, like our memories, you know, the hurtful ones. Sometimes we just put them away, but if we can let it go, then we're free. Otherwise, they're still there. They're still just existing.
I talk about like boxes in the attic. We store it up in the attic, boxes and boxes, put it up there, and after a while it gets a bit, you know, the mice move in, there's lots of big spiders and things. You don't want to go up there, it gets a bit smelly. You don't want to go there.
No.
It's scary. You don't want to go and clear those boxes out. But that's what we do, isn't it? When we're working with people, we're helping them, we're going there with them, we've got the torch. They're like, I know where we're going, don't worry, we'll do it together. You'll be okay, you know, and you help. And then they have to, we dust those boxes off, lift the lid.
Nice.
Carefully, maybe just a little bit, a little peek, and close it again. And see, find the right box, and then we'll work with giving that, clean it out, and then eventually you can just convert that attic into a beautiful new light space. Put some windows in, and you've got all that space, and you can use it for storage of things that you really want to keep, and all that other clutter just gone. You know, so
beautiful. And what
Danielle, about, you know, converting things as well, like Linda was saying about making cushions and things. Like for me, this necklace, I had some jewelry which was my grandmother's, and it was gold stuff, and I don't wear gold because it just doesn't suit me. So I eventually decided to I sold it to somebody who would love it, and then I bought myself jewelry that I would wear. So this is one of the things that I bought. So because it's like, what's the point of just keeping it in a file somewhere? I've got, you know, it's just stupid. So I turned it into something that I would love and wear. And I got this heart now, which I wear here to remind my head that there is a heart here, and it's not just stuck up here. I've got all this stuff happening down here too. So this is my reminder to myself about that.
That's converting. I like that.
And it's just like making something happy for me, you know, because that jewelry was great for my grandmother, but it didn't suit me. She loved it. I didn't love it. I wasn't going to use it. And I wanted to make it something beautiful that I would wear to remind myself of her and her love for me and everything else. And so that's what I did. And so
That's great.
That's what we do, isn't it? And the clutter is like, it's not just, it's not just what's up here, but it is like this physical clutter about us. What are we holding on to? Does this, that whole Marie Kondo thing, you hold on to it, does this spark joy for me? Does it? If it doesn't, you have to love it and let it go. Thank it. You say thank you to it. Thank you for being in my life, but you don't spark joy in me, so I'm going to let you go to someone for whom it will spark joy, and I'm going to replace it with something else, or have nothing, just have a bit more space, whatever it is. And that, to me, things that are clues to what make you happy would be the things that are making you unhappy. It's the opposite of that. So if that's making you unhappy, then what is it that you love, that you're not having?
That's made me think, because I had a client a couple of days ago, and she oh gosh, she was just depressed, younger girl, very depressed. She wasn't eating, she wasn't sleeping, she was beating herself up physically, emotionally, spiritually, and we dropped through all of those things, and it all came down to someone that she didn't want to work with anymore. She didn't want to work with but this person was very connected to the family, so she didn't want to let her family down, and she didn't want to let her family down. She didn't want to let this person, she wanted to do the right thing, but she did not want to work with this person. This person wasn't doing any good for her, for what she wanted, her goal, her visions for her. And she was getting more and more into this hole, this dark depression place. She was in floods of tears. And what she had to do was focus on her happiness. And nothing else is important, because everyone around her, she's the most important thing in her own life. And everyone around her that loves her wants her to be happy. So it's just noticing that it's okay. It's okay to let go of what is bringing you down. And anyway, the long and the short of it is, by the end of the session, I asked her how she's feeling, and she was like a different person. Her whole persona changed. She was happy. She was like, she goes, I feel so much better. And we played through in her mind what she was going to do, what she was going to say. And sometimes no words are needed, just a hug as well, with her parents and stuff like that. And it was just the connection and knowing that she could say goodbye to this other thing that wasn't making her happy. And that will be because she visualized it. She saw what she wanted. She had the plans in place, how the steps that she's going to get there. And then you put the plan into action, and that equals happiness. And it was just, okay, it was a big change, but it was a little change really to get to her goal, which was the opposite of what was going on there. Absolutely what you just said. She wanted this and she was having it, but with this. She didn't want that. She wanted this. So it's just going direct to there rather than all around. So
finding that clarity, isn't it? You gave her that clarity, which she found out for herself, because you couldn't have told her what it was. She would have to work it out for herself. And she needed that support in finding it. And then having hope in the future now. I've got steps that I can take to get there. And the thing is, like, the other thing I think we should also mention is that when you're not happy, there's not something wrong with you. It's not. It's a message. There's a message of something you're not doing that you need to be doing. Something you are doing that you shouldn't be doing, So it's like working out what it is.
Go on, Linda.
So do we need to talk about the difference between happiness and contentment and the value of contentment?
Yes.
Content is not less than happy, because happy can be a bit partified, can't it? So if we're always looking for that party feeling, it may not always be available.
No.
But contentment, and I do believe, so there's a wave, but I do believe there is a flat line of contentment as well, because I didn't believe it then. I didn't understand that when I was depressed, because there wasn't one. But I've had it since. I've experienced it since. I experience it in most of my days. So yes, I was miserable about my regrets this week, but it was momentary. So there was a dip, but it was momentary and it didn't go very far down. Most of my day is a flat line of solid contentment.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's like that default state we were saying at the beginning. Like for me, it's like that peace, like peace in my mind and energy in my body, and that's my contentment feeling. And happiness is the unusual up there, and then you get the dips as well. But then you're always coming back to this default state of just contentment and fulfillment's another word, isn't it? This feeling of fulfillment. People talk about, oh, I'm not happy because I haven't got a purpose in life, and I've got to find this purpose and all that. I must be skippy and rainbows and everything. So, well, yeah, but that's not sustainable. Contentment's sustainable, and that's where we want to get everyone to. And like Linda was saying earlier about this whole thing of you can get from really, really down and depressed and anxious to kind of flat.
Yeah,
but it is flat. There's no positive either. And I think, and that's the whole positive psychology movement came from that, where they realized that depression in the old days was treated by psychiatrists and psychologists, and they realized that all they could do is get them to flat. They couldn't get them to happy. They were just flat. There was no feeling. But it was better than feeling terrible, and absolutely like there's no hope in life. So they were getting to flat, but they couldn't get them to happy. And psychology in those days wasn't based on how do you make people happy. So the whole positive psychology movement came in the 80s about how do we make people happy.
Amazing.
And flourish in life, and find that beautiful feeling of flow and kind of just like everything's okay. Yeah. And part of that is learning that even when you're not okay, you're okay, and being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and learning all those skills, which is what we teach people. So that, how do I be okay with not knowing? That whole total not knowing thing, because nothing changes in life if you already know it, then you're not going to have any change. So you've got to go through a period of not knowing, a period of confusion, a period of real discomfort to change anything in life that's worth having and worth going towards. And so being able to be uncomfortable
it's
and being okay with not being okay, just being okay with I've woken up with like a bear with a sore head today, I'm grumpy, and that is it, kind of thing. If that's it, then be okay with that. And know that it's not your state forever. It's just a state. It's a state of mind. It's a state of body. And you can change a state of mind and state of body when you learn these skills to do that.
It's like kids. Kids are completely in the present, and that's where we need to be, because something happened along the way. If there is depression and there is just that line and you don't get to that exuberance, what was the point when it stopped? What happened at that point? Because that point was that's where you need to go to work it, because you had it before. We have it as kids. Many of us, most of us have it as kids, that feeling of joy and living in the moment, and nothing's a problem. And if they fall down, they'll cry, and then they'll get back up and they'll carry on. It's like, it's just a state of, that's what we want. We want that presence. And along the line, we start to, it's so easy to just hold on to that baggage and just putting it back there, and, bringing it into the present, inviting that in, and not associating it with the past, until we're at that point where we're just living like that, because we can't get there. So by asking, when was that moment that it changed? Asking yourself, and maybe people might not know, but physically, mentally, but if you relax down enough, your body knows, your memories know, your subconscious will know exactly where it is that it needs to go to fix, just to go back and change everything in light of now. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's what NLP, I love about NLP so much, because it gives you that tool to be able to just change that moment and look at it in perspective. With one set of eyes, same thing. It's the glasses, isn't it? It's the glasses in the old garden, the glasses in the new garden. It's the same thing. Putting on the glasses, different set of glasses down there to the past, so that they've got those tools and they can apply it, and then everything just changes. And then bit by bit, or maybe just immediately, it might just happen just like that. that everything just changes and you can get that joy, invite it more back in again. I love NLP. I love you too. You make me so happy. You make me happy.
Well, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because like, do we make you happy, or are you making yourself happy?
It's the connection that's making me happy with people that are like-minded.
Yeah.
That I trust.
So like the things that kind of make you happy. We talk about things making us feel a certain way. You make me angry. You make me sad. You make me happy. It's like, well, who's really making you do any of those things? It's only you, and you're putting yourself in a situation to be with like-minded people to make you happy. So you're making it happen, and you're also making that feeling inside of you, because you could turn that feeling, if you wanted to, into any feeling you like with practice. So we make ourselves happy. And the other thing I think is worth saying as well is you can't make anyone else happy either.
No.
Responsible for their own happiness too. And so we take responsibility for our own happiness and stop taking responsibility of other people's. I know it's different if you've got a young child or something and you want them to be happy and you're nurturing and everything else and caring, but it's still, there's a difference between caring for and
there's a difference.
Yes.
So, and so yes, you want them to be safe, but then they also have to be responsible for their own choices and their own happiness. And the earlier people realize that in life, the easier they find it to do. They get brought up with that habit of that's, these are the choices, these are the consequences of your choice now. What are you going to do? And then you live with those consequences of that choice.
It's a learning curve, isn't it?
And it's all a choice, isn't it? All we're making decisions all the time throughout our day about how we react to something, and maybe we don't feel we have a choice, but we always do. And learning that, maybe that pause sometimes, taking a pause before you say anything.
Yeah.
Is this kind? Is this going to be a kind thing to say, or am I? Because if you're giving out something that's unkind, then you're also being unkind to yourself, because you're also feeling that feeling and practicing that feeling inside of you, which you don't really want. So if I'm feeling angry with somebody, why am I angry? It's like having that pause, saying, well, what do I want here? I'm angry at you because it seems like you don't care about me. So what I really want is love and care. So what I should be giving you is love and care, because if I don't feel love and care for you and feel anger, I'm just going to keep anger inside. And what I want inside is love and care. So feel love and care and try giving that out instead and see what happens.
Absolutely. And I think that's really important. Kindness is one of the biggest things that you have to do to find your own happiness, because being vulnerable and being kind and to others and inviting more of that into yourself, kindness to yourself is like the key. It's key to your own happiness, because how can you look after everybody else if you're not looking after yourself? You can't look after yourself.
You'll burn out eventually, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And stop chasing happiness as well, because it's there. It's there. You don't have to. It's not all about that goal. It's not all about that next thing. It's now, right now. Look around. What's happiness? Oh, that's happy. I'm happy. Do you know what? I can see a beautiful picture of a butterfly up there. I bought that. I bought that way back in the day. But I love it. The colours are beautiful on it. I'm happy. I love it. I love my butterfly. Just stupid things. And you can take a little piece of, say, like you've got to wear a school uniform or something like that, or a uniform at work. You can have something that's a beautiful colour in your pocket that you can just have, so you can look at it if every now and then, if you want to have a look at a bit of colour. So you've got that with you. It's always with you. Or a smell, a bit of perfume, that makes me feel happy. So you can wear a little bit of aftershave or perfume, and every now and then you can smell it, and just that smell will just invoke that happiness. Everything.
We're senses, aren't they? We talk about senses, like seeing things like beautiful colours or sparkly stuff. I like sparkly things. I've got my little sparkly tortoise that I keep on my desk. And it's not, I haven't got to think about tortoises or anything, but I just love the sparkliness. So he sits on my desk and I just look at him now and again. After a while I don't see him anymore, and then sometimes I just, oh yeah, there you are.
There you are. Yeah.
So I just have little knickknacks that I love, just pretty sparkly stuff about me, because that delights me. And so that's the sense of seeing, and then there's the hearing. What sounds have you got around you? It's like, it's not just clutter in terms of physical stuff. It's like noise clutter. What's going on around you? And sometimes I have there's a brilliant website called mynoise.net, and it's just beautiful sounds of nature. This guy goes around the world recording different sounds, and then it's all free, and you just go online and you listen. So while I'm doing my work, sometimes I'll put that on if I can hear noise that's disturbing me, or a noise that I don't like the sound of, and I'll just put that on, and I've got that beautiful, I've got sound of the waves. That's for me, waves on a pebble beach is just beautiful. So I listen to that. It's got like rain on a tent and that sort of thing. If you love camping as a kid, it just takes you back to this place. So for me, I'm there on the beach, and it's just beautiful. So you can sort out the clutter in the noisescape around you.
What a beautiful idea. But thank you for that. That's lovely. Mynoise.net.
Mynoise.net, fantastic.
Check that
one. That is a lovely thing. So the starting point for all this is to know that you can change it.
Yeah.
Isn't it? To know that you can and make that decision. Tony Robbins says as well, because I'm very focused on the power of decision, and I'm fortunate by now in having utter trust that I can decide, and it will have power. It will bring things about. Decision is so important. Tony Robbins says when you've truly decided. So for me, I've reached that point where I'm going, oh, I'm not having this. I'm not having this. Then I will have decided.
Yeah.
And he says, once you've decided, it's game over.
That's right.
Maybe some time needs to pass before you get the results, depending what it is you've decided on. But once you've made that decision, it's done. Yeah. It is done. So it's really important to do whatever you have to do to trust the power of your decision.
I love that. And also, like, we're nearly up at an hour already. I can't believe it, because I love you guys. Oh my God. I was just thinking as well, laughing is the best medicine as well. It can make you feel happy. So what is it that makes you laugh? Because even it's quite hard to laugh sometimes if you are on that level of feeling low. That is true. That's very true. But if you are on the medium level, or you need just a little lift, laughter is the best medicine. Just giggling, just faking it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. And smiling, because it's contagious. Smiling at someone else, because the more you can smile at someone and they'll just smile back most of the time. Not all the time.
This morning, I woke up on I got out of bed on the wrong side of the bed. I hadn't even got out of bed anyway.
Oh, darling.
And I was anxious about things. And then what followed, I put on some worship music, and then I was kind of all right. But what followed was an interaction between me and the family in a WhatsApp group, and Lizzie was stressing about, because we have chosen not to be vaccinated, and therefore we want to avoid the freshly vaccinated for a couple of weeks. It's simply because we do not know. It's experimental, as we've said already. Anyway, that is irrelevant. It doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. But this is what the discussion was about. And, well, how do you do that, says Lizzie. I mean, you can't, walk past somebody in a supermarket, and what if you go to the cinema and da-da-da. And I suddenly said, Lizzie, we've done this already. We've already done this. We don't need to do it again. She said, well, yes, but all I remember is you said I was silly. You said I was silly. And I said, because I couldn't bear to go over to chew this bone again. So I said, you were not silly and I was wrong. Well, what came next was a flurry of gifts with people going, because never do I say I am wrong. Hardly ever. I will hardly ever admit to being wrong. so we laughed and we laughed. We laughed at the gifts. We laughed because I had said no, she wasn't silly, and I was wrong. And we just laughed and laughed till I had tears in my eyes from this laughing. So you to grab that where you can. Sometimes it will just come to you, won't it?
Yeah, I love
grab
that.
it. Grab it.
Oh.
Yeah. Just laugh about it.
And just even like you were saying as well, just if you can find a way of laughing, like watch something that makes you laugh. You know, there's always something, isn't there? There's plenty of stuff on Netflix now and stuff.
Yeah, just find a gift.
Or just or speak to somebody that just is always on that up. You know, find that person and talk to them, or just smiling, like you're saying. They've even done. I'm sure I've said this before on different past ones, that just they did things with students, and they stuck chopsticks in their mouths to make them smile, and it actually increased their happiness for the rest of the day, just by forcing your face in a smile. You're not actually smiling at anything, but you're making your face muscles do smiling, and that was enough to make them feel happier for the rest of the day. So our body will take the hint, you know, if we make it happen.
Yeah, I totally. Oh well, listen, it's been flipping brilliant. Yeah, again. Oh, my Friday. I'm just grateful, very grateful to you both for joining me, and like, I know so many people get value as well from this. So you both are incredible, and I just love it. It sets me back on that nice piece.
It's great. Me too. It's great. I
love you.
See your smile, Danielle. This is my day too.
Connection, isn't it? It's connection to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you know what? That's the thing as well. We'd be having this conversation between us. We might as well share it, because we'd be having it. So I would be getting value from this, and now everyone else is getting value. And also we're quite open. So to us, it's like, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to say a massive goodbye, sending everyone happy Black Friday, isn't it? Black Friday as well.
Good Friday.
This Friday. Today. Black Friday.
Yeah, it's not black though, is it?
I don't. Oh no, Black Friday. Christmas, Good Friday.
No, it's good.
Good Friday.
Good Friday.
So Black Friday's at Christmas. I knew that. Happy Easter. I know it's Easter. I know that one's right. I do. Yeah.
Good Friday.
Yeah. Happy Easter. Happy Good Friday, because it's a good day. That's right. It's a good day. Good Friday.
Yeah.
And have a wonderful Easter weekend. And I'm going to sign off. I will put everyone's details in the comments, and just contact us. Anything you need, we are here for you. Lots of love, spreading the happiness vibe. Right, let me say goodbye. Say bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
That's it. Right, that's stopped. And stop recording.